This is Rangadad. This isn't financial advice. This is just the way I'm looking at the market. And this is going to be a bit of an update for the guys in Origin as well. Yeah, it's been an interesting few days on the markets. Sorry I couldn't come on yesterday. I was a bit busy, but this was freaking wild. Don't know if I actually did a live. Can't remember when the last live was that I did, but I think it was just before this actually. 'Cause I remember watching it thinking, shit, it's different to what I was talking about. But yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see where Bitcoin finishes today. Had a bit of fun the last couple of days trading it manually. The bot has gone reasonably well. Still took a few hits, longing the top and shorting the bottom, but it seems to be behaving a bit better because Bitcoin is following through on the breakouts a bit more. This one here was a bit of a hit. And then that one there was unfortunate. That's not a bad signal. It just immediately ripped to the upside and hit our new criteria, which is just intended to limit that loss on a quick reversal, like a fake out reversal. So, but obviously it got back in here and had a pretty decent win there. That one, if we had the old TP4, it would have hit TP4 as well. So far, TP2 is pretty good, but I suspect this is potentially going to stop out. Which will mean probably a break-even kind of trade with fees and stuff. Maybe a little small loss with fees. In terms of where we're at the moment, with the bot, I haven't had a chance to do any of the new stuff that I was hoping to do. Hopefully in a few weeks' time I'll be able to do that. But now CC's also just released his sniper entry bot. I'm probably going to work on that with him a little bit. Sorry, the sniper entry indicator. I'll probably work with him a bit to actually turn that into a bot as well. So all depends how much work I got on and things like that as to when I'll be able to actually get to the improved version of this overall. But for the time being, I'm going to keep it running because Bitcoin is moving a bit more rationally, a little bit more. This was completely ridiculous, but it didn't hurt us too much. I actually closed this one out. I think this big red candle here with the like 15K volume, which is a massive amount of volume. Like those of you that were paying attention when I mentioned the huge volumes that we had, it's actually back here. These sort of volumes that we had in around, where was the drop? This one here. So that there, when we had massive volumes compared to anything prior for ages prior. Like it wasn't back till this flush here that we had volumes that sort of size, but it didn't flush and it actually held itself and then reversed. That was when I said, okay, that's probably a pretty good signal that we've found a bit of a bottom here, and we still haven't been back to that point yet. Now, obviously, that was a big topping signal as well, but sort of ever since then, it's Bitcoin seems a bit more committed. People were buying in a lot more, so the moves were bigger. And yeah, we got a little bit of chop in some areas, but in general, it's still looking okay. So that's that period there that we've just sort of been through and just been smashed by. Yeah. The drawdown levels are still sort of within the ranges that I am aiming for. So for the time being, we'll keep going and just hopefully this is onwards and upwards. For those in Origin, if your account balance has dropped to a level of sort of $200 or less on, particularly on the 15x or 25x, the low or medium risk ones, just be careful. Keep an eye on it, because it may not take profits on some of the trades, just because the order size will be too small for it. And I can't actually, for some reason, Wonder Trading hasn't been able to connect with those trades. Normally I can see them. They sort of pop into a not controlled by Wonder Trading bucket, and I can generally drag them back in and then manually close them. But I haven't been able to lately, and I'm not 100% sure why. But so just keep an eye on things manually. It'll always obviously still take the trade, still take the entry, but you just won't necessarily get the exits. And that would be the case even if it was placing the orders on the exchange. So either keep an eye on it or just top it up a bit more. If you're comfortable doing so, in the hope that this actually starts going on the runs that we know it can. So that's a bit of a Tradior update. The other thing, I'm just checking my stream health. Yeah, that's good. So general market overview. Very interesting rejection of this trend line, it would seem, at the moment. A lot of people are probably freaking out at this, thinking, we got to 70K and it's just rejected that. I'm still not super worried about this yet. I mean, I'll show you why. With the manual, hang on, where is it? So we've still got a lot of orders up here, all the way up to 72, at least 72. And I think that's still a pretty good target. We've come down and we've picked up a lot of these orders in here, which is great. We've got a bit of a bounce, but I do think it'll probably come down at least into the 65.5 sort of region, which has always been a bit of a target. Maybe a bit lower than that to pick up some of these big orders here. But generally, there isn't a hell of a lot for it to come back down into. It might try and sweep and get close to the previous lows, but as we said, it's like at the moment, I think it would take an overall market crash, stock market crash, to really bring us back down to these levels. Or to at least go lower than that. So we could come back down into this level quite easily. just to have one last flush out of retail that's FOMOing in and going long at the top. But when we when we looked at the hash ribbons definitely signaled a buy here. And it's rare. Well, let's just say if we close below this level, 53.3, then there will be something majorly wrong with the market and we will be going way back down. So at least 42, potentially lower. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's just something to keep in mind when you're placing orders and things. My current thesis is we may get back down into the low 60s. But at the moment, I think it's going to be a bit choppy. So while we've got the market, general stock market hasn't really turned around the way that I would have liked to see. Like it's not a V-shaped recovery yet by any means. Like it's not this sort of bounce, but so I'm kind of interested as to what it'll do when it gets up to the 50 EMA, around that 19,350 level. If it rejects that, then I actually think it will come back into this 18,300, which on the NASDAQ, that'll be somewhere around the 10 to 11% move, which is, we've always said, is not a bad thing for the NASDAQ. What we're kind of waiting for is to see when the Fed's going to start cutting rates. That will likely be just after the market has actually found wherever the bottom is. So this week's pretty critical because this week is the rates decision for August. So forecast is basically no change, but depending on the sentiment that they bring through with the press conference and stuff like that, that'll probably govern the way the market's going to go. Look, this is still looking like a bounce. You just got to be wary that we could come a little lower. And it wouldn't surprise me if S&P 500 comes back into that 5,300 sort of level. Just big week of earnings this week. There's, I think, 43% or something. Only 43% of stocks have actually hit their earnings targets so far this round, which is quite low. Normally the beats is up around 60, 70%. So that's something to keep in mind. It is showing the signs of the general issues in the market that we've got. But things like that are going to be bouncy. And as we've said before, once the Fed cuts rates, you tend to get a run up, even if the economy is shit, which is why the Fed is generally cutting rates. The market will actually bounce. And that bounce can actually run for quite a while, 3-6 months. So that's what we're looking for. That'll be sort of the last throws, I think, and take us into 2025. And then we're probably going to be looking for tops and then massive. Well, we're going to be looking for the breaking of the system, basically. And then we'll be looking for the blood in the street. Equal weight is still strong as well, which again supporting the fact that it doesn't look like we're going to any mass bear market or major crash or anything like that. It's not indicating that. That's the NASDAQ equal weight, I believe. Yeah. That's, still holding a little bit. IWM's still strong. Futures as well. You see a red day and you think, oh, that's not strong. And that is kind of distribution kind of percentages, but not super concerning. So YXLP has actually bounced. That does suggest that the market thinks the economy's not too bad. DJI Gold's still hovering, looking like it'll keep trending upwards, which, again, once this breaks below these sort of levels, that's when I'll be a bit more concerned about the overall economy. And then what do we got? VIX. So VIX doesn't look like it wants that 20 mark yet. The VIX can bounce around quite a bit. So, it's not a super great indicator, but it did help us sort of pick the bottom. The thing that's really interesting to me at the moment is this skew just keeps crushing. That does suggest that we've got a bit more downside yet. So we could be just having a little bit of a, wouldn't even call it a dead cat bounce. I'd almost call it just a rip. So people are like, it's ripping, people are going to sell the rip, but then I think the next bottom, which should be this week or early next week, I think it's going to be the last bottom for a little while. Just the way I'm looking at it at the moment, that changes literally. It can change intraday. That's why this isn't financial advice. This is just how I'm currently looking at it, to get things right in my head going into the day. So DAX is still in this wedge. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Hong Kong looks like it bounced in that region that we thought it would. Sorry, that's Hong Kong. Hang Seng Index, Chinese stocks, looks like it's finding some support where we were hoping it would. Tech doesn't look like it though. UK 100's been interesting. It looked like it was going to break out, but very much a rejection of that level right now. Might just be a retrace before going higher. Wouldn't surprise me, but I don't follow the UK markets as much. So just I put a few more of these on there just because we kind of want to be looking at the global markets to see. It's probably going to be a cascade effect once the big sell-off does come. And other markets may actually tip us off to what's coming for the US market. TLT is still reasonably strong. Generally, TLT goes up when, well, should go up when interest rates come down. So high yield junk is still staying strong as well, just eking higher. And again, what do we have there? We have a dull market. You don't really want to short a dull market. You never know when it's going to actually drop. You want to actually short on breakouts. And somewhere like it closed below this wick here. It's probably small for those of you not looking at it on 4K, but 77 closed below that, and yeah, we probably will see a bit more of a downturn in bonds. 2-year, 10-year looks like it doesn't want to play ball just yet. Still bouncing. To me, based on that, it suggests that we're actually not, well, the market is kind of in agreement that it doesn't think that there's going to be a rate cut this month, this next rate cut. But yeah, we're certainly still in that downward trend. Copper bouncing around the level that we hoped it would. Might start coiling a little bit here. Has crossed to the upside on the stochastic momentum, which would suggest it will start to go up, but we're still in that bearish control zone as well. So just be careful. But I think this is a pretty good level for copper. Gold, yeah, it's still struggling as well. I'd like to see it close above that green line there, which is now resistance. Oil's getting slammed. So yeah, if oil closes below the $75 mark, I suspect it will go quite a bit further down. Oops. Yeah, I suspect we'll be coming down into this 67 sort of dollar region. I don't think it happens anytime soon, but yeah, we'll probably sort of have bounces along the way. Yeah, significant closes below that 75 level will lead to more down. Dixie is interesting. Dixie actually has not necessarily rejected that 200. It's really tried hard to push up there, and that's a fairly bullish close on it. And I should know because the Aussie dollar got smacked again. The other thing too to point out, global liquidity is coming down quite hard. So that may put a little bit of pressure on the stock market as well, but just something to keep in the back of your mind. Japanese yen seems to be finding a bit of a resistance level here, or support level if you go the opposite one. Euro, it's come down. Not a bad retrace level here too, so I think it's going to be a bit choppy for a little bit until we get, well, probably for the rest of the week at least, until we get the interest rate decision through a couple of days. Money supply still heading up. No huge surprise there. Percentage of stocks above their 50-day moving average is still holding quite high as well, suggesting this isn't a major correction, like I've been saying. Mag 7, yeah, not looking particularly worrying. Nvidia's still struggling a bit, but it looks like the narrative at the moment is, everyone's now realizing that AI isn't going to make as much money as they thought it would as soon as they thought it would. So yeah, is what it is. The ASX 200, interesting, struggled a little bit yesterday. Again, probably just a bit choppy because the markets haven't made up their mind yet whether they want more down or up. BTC longs starting to pick back up again a little bit, so there's no major panic or major liquidation events from these guys. Have a quick look. So we found a demand zone on the CC indicators. We may break through that, and based on this indicator, it's sort of suggesting there might be a few stops on the way down if we do break this level. Yeah, I'd be kind of surprised if we got down this far, but as I said, you never know. That's why we try and look at it on a daily and shorter time frames. This looks like it might have some continuation to the downside on the 15-minute. Be interesting if we break back below the 800 EMA on the 15-minute, then yeah, I would expect it to come back down into at least the 64.8 level. Maybe 63.3, which was a point of interest for CC's indicator as well. And then, we got levels around 60K after that. But yeah, I sort of harp on not harp on, but to let you know what I've been looking at. Sol's still looking strong, but it has rejected that resistance level that we've got in there. So just be mindful of that. Sol could come back into at least the 158 level potentially, just to have a bit of a retest before it tries for the final time. Or that's one potential scenario. Another scenario is we just come back down to the bottom of this range, pick up some of the liquidity that's going to be sitting around here, potentially all the way down to 112, and then we go on a run up. I can't say how deep it's going to go, but at the moment, what I do like the look of is just the way it's trading. Selling is generally being bought up pretty hard. There's a lot of orders in there. We did have a lot of selling pressure on the charts, like these levels up here. There was so many Bitcoin that were on orders up in this range. So, and even up to that 70K mark. It doesn't surprise me that we found a bit of a top, but at the same time, as I said, the thing that I got in the back of my mind all the time is everyone was going bullish again up towards the tops. Everyone freaks out, goes, we're going to new all-time highs and stuff. And yeah, look, it does look like that, but expect at least short-term pullbacks when everyone gets excited. I don't see any reason why it would go super low on this, or go back down to the 42 level or anything like that. So what I'm been doing, and for those in Origin, I have moved all this over into a new account so that I can start to do the copy trading side of it. So this method in the last month, just this month, has generated about I think it's over 40% now, probably closer to 50, but basically it's just a matter of picking a longer term trend that I think is going to happen and buy in at key levels, buy dips. When this looked like it was going mega bullish, I bought in a little bit. And then I had another order sitting in here somewhere. I had another order sitting down here somewhere. Pretty sure I had another order just below this level, just in case it swiped the lows. Now, as I was buying in there, I did actually sell a little bit here. So it's basically just trying to buy the dips when I see it dipping, and when I see it potentially turning around, I will, on sort of the 15-minute or so time frame, I'll buy it. I'll look for the retrace. If there is a decent retrace, I will take some profits off the table. Even though this trade here, technically it was still in the red when I took some profit here. All I did was, and I'll show you this one might not have been on there. I'll show you another one further along. But all I did was take the profit from the order size that I bought in at down here. The funny thing is that shows up on the P&L. That actually shows up as a negative day, but it's because it's taking the average buy-in price of that order as the break even, whereas that was actually like a 30% take profit on this order size. So, and then obviously I bought in again when it dipped again. So I'm trying to take some profits along the way, selling the rips, buying the dips. But generally, because trading the inverse perpetuals, you can't actually hedge. So I can't sell and buy at the same time. It's only one directional. You just gotta you got to trade it differently to what I would normally trade it, and it's been quite profitable. So yeah, just trying to buy these dips along the way where I think there's potential to go higher, and then obviously I had some pretty good sell points up here. I only sold 50% there just in case it looked like it was going to go higher, but then when it started to look like it was rolling over, I did close that whole position. And then basically I went, well, I still think like there's so much buying pressure here. I still think it's going to be a long overall market on the sort of daily, weekly kind of time frame. And I also know that sort of buying in 10% each hit at key levels on the way down, plus taking a bit of profit on the rips, and that one there just missed my profit target. So be it. It may actually still get there if we do have another little turnaround here. So yeah, looks like that take profit level on this buy-in would be a 32% profit on that order size, right? That's the order there. I'm only selling 500 of the 600. That's probably 25% or something profit on that particular order. But that will show up on the P&L as a down day. But overall, my account size is growing. So yeah, orders basically at key levels that I'm looking at on the way down. I don't think it'll get to 60K. I'm only doing it on 20x leverage as well, so there's plenty of sort of room. Doing it on cross margin, so liquidation price is well below, well below where I think it could go to. And if it goes down to this sort of level, I will be looking at like that's a big buy level for me. I've put a bigger order size in there. And generally I'll increase the order size a little bit as we come down. But again, I will be taking profits on the rips as well. So, in general, this could generate, well, it has been generating about 40-50% a month. So looking to continue that. And once I got a bit of data, a bit of history behind it, I'll open it up for the copy trading. I kind of like trading the inverse too, because you look at this number here and it doesn't register as dollars. You're just trying to get that number. I think that started at like 0.0004 or 5 when I first started it. You're just trying to get that number up to the next level. So next target is 0.01. Next target after that will be 0.015, that sort of thing. So it takes a little bit of psychology out of the numbers in terms of dollar values, and just looking for it to grow steadily. So yeah, that's how I've been doing the trading at the moment. But yeah, the best part is you're not worried if it comes down. I'm actually I like it if it comes down and hits these targets, because then I know it's probably going to have a rip that I can then sell and make some profit on that move. And eventually it will get back above this level. Or on the way down, I would have probably made enough money to cover that, whatever that leftover loss is. So yeah, just an interesting sort of lesson in ways that you can potentially trade. And it's not necessarily having to pick the exact right direction all the time. You're okay with drops. Yeah, mentally it's quite a. All right, that's about it for me. Reason I put that take profit level in there was there's a vector candle in here, sort of the bottom of these wicks as well, and we got a bit of liquidity here that looked like it was going to run into. I thought we were going to hit it there, to be honest, but it's not quite there yet. But this is quite a. If we close with an engulfing candle here, I would definitely expect that level to be hit, which I'll be happy with, and then basically just take that profit and run, and just if it comes back down here again, I'll buy in again. Probably wait and see if it. Actually, the next target I will probably just leave it the one that I've got down around 65,500, I think 65,600. That'll probably be the next target because these shift a little bit over time, but yeah, it's pretty close to that. All right. Have a good one.